everyone! So I've got my cupboards emptied. I've taken everything out, and here's everything on the countertop. I've tried to put things in some kind of category a little bit. Cans with cans, spices. And this is what you're going to wind up with when you take everything out of your cupboards. You're going to have, everything out and sprawled on your counter. So now what do you do? How do you put it back? And that's what we're going to go over right now. There isn't a perfect method. It's going to be kind of an experiment. You might put things back where they've always been, but if you've also gotten rid of a lot of things, you might find that you want to put things in a different spot. And I want to show you, I have this little organizing thing here that has always been in there. I'm going to leave it out for now, and I would encourage you to keep any other organizing things out first, because I want you to first put things back in just your best bet. Like, given how things are organized and grouped right now, I want you to just try putting things back and just see how it goes. This is a little funky because a lot of things that you buy, they're not going to be the same things you buy. A lot of things will be, but it depends on how adventurous of a eater or cooker you are. Maybe you buy a lot of different things, but I think a lot of us, we tend to buy the same things over and over. So basically, I'm going to take my groups of things and try to put things back in just the way that I think it'll work, and we're going to see. Okay, so here is my first attempt at putting stuff back without using any organization things. And the reason I want you to put things back without using any other tools is I want you to really see the space you have instead of trying to fit something else that isn't your food in here. I want you to use the space and just see everything that you have, because the next part is to look at your first attempt and come back to your notebook, and here's where you're going to start writing down things that aren't working for you. So some of the things up here, if we come up here, I'm pretty okay with where the cans are. The spices are a problem for me because they are all over the place. And even before I took everything out and I had everything on a Lazy Susan, I still wasn't really happy with how the spices are, because they still feel like they're just too messy. I also want to show you some ways that you can use your space to help you psychologically, I guess. So up here is my, I guess, kind of like sweet tooth area. And stuff in the back is actually stuff I'm trying to hide from myself. They aren't things that I want to use all the time. I still want to have them, like sugar. If I bake something, I want to have it. So actually what I've done is I've put some healthier snacks in front of the other things, because for me, just seeing something is like a trigger and suddenly I want to eat that. So this is just a helpful thing for me. And you can do that for yourself too with some things. So again, I'm going to go to my notebook here, and I'm going to write down, so food cupboard, so spices. I'm just going to write spices because that's mostly the problem. They take up a lot of space. As you can see, they're taking up this whole front area, and then also for the bulk ones, they're taking up that whole top area. So I am going to want to think about ways to deal with my spices in a way that makes better sense. For this area with the cans, I can honestly see that this is a good idea to keep this separator, because then I can see things better. in the back here, you can't quite see it, but all of the, without the spices in front, it actually looks a lot better with the pastas in the back, because they're tall, they stand up. So if I can put things in front that are shorter and better organized, I think that cupboard will be just fine as well. And up here, actually, without the bulk things, there's like 2 or 3 things up here, and that's it. So I might, you know, come up with a better use of that space than just for those bulk items. So how do you come up with that space? How do you decide where to put things? Well, you've just decluttered. You have more space everywhere. You look in your other cupboards, see what's up there. You know, I would want to put the bulk spices up here in this cupboard so that they can have space up there. I cleared out the drawers here, and one of the things I marked down in my notebook was that there's hardly anything in these things, so I actually have space. For instance, in this drawer, where it's for measuring, I'm kind of thinking I might be able to make the spices work in here, because there's a bunch of space, and so I'm going to see if I can make that work. So I want to show you what I wound up doing. I wound up putting everything into the drawer, actually, with the spices, which I was really happy about. I didn't even realize it, but these little things that I got, you can get a 4-pack from IKEA. They have this wedge on the back, which makes it easy to put them in like this. So that was pretty handy. And I also try to organize spices by color. I feel like that helps me out, knowing what's there rather than alphabetically or by name. So while I really like this, I still have some extra spices though, and that is these bulk ones that I'm still not quite sure what to do with. So I'm going to leave them for now, and I'm just putting it here, spices bulk, because I need a solution for that, because I don't like it, but that's what we have for right now. I also want to show you, so all of these cans of beans were on top of this this riser, but if you're looking at it right here, I actually have a lot more space as they are. So you know, if I put everything on a riser, it actually takes up more space than you need. And I want to show you that. So if you're looking at this with the riser now, I've pushed everything to the back, just like it was before, but I find that it's harder to read everything, just the lighting in here. So what I wind up doing is bringing everything forward, which visually just takes up more space. It makes it easier to read, but it also takes up more space. I mean, because, you know, there's all that space in the back. So sometimes, you know, these organizing things actually, you know, may not be the best idea for what you have. So even though they're designed to save space, depending on what you're working with, it might not actually be that helpful, because it's still another thing that you have to shove into these places. So to conclude, I just want you to know that, you know, this type of thing is going to be a work in progress. Oops, just lost some spices. It's going to be a work in progress, and these things, they kind of shake out as you live. So you'll kind of see like how things are working, what things aren't working, and just make note of it. Be sure to write down in your notebook anything that pops up. You know, maybe I'll find that this spice drawer doesn't really work. Oh, I mean, right now something's getting caught, so who knows? It seems like a good idea, but maybe it's not. Maybe I'll have to move that thing, because yeah, now I can't get that open. So, you know, but the great thing is that you've decluttered, you have more options for space. Now we're just figuring out the best way to put it to use. So Happy organizing, and I'll talk to you soon.